Ciao everybody, welcome back to the Bianconerizonechannel YouTube channel. My name is Julian Gennady, and today I will be doing a review show for our Coppa Italia match, the quarterfinal against Sassuolo that was played yesterday. And I'm just going to go through the run-through of the game, stats, and basically the quotes coming after the game from Allegri in the post-match presser. I will give you my initial thoughts on the game, and like I said, a run-through. Initial thoughts was... For 60 minutes, we were poor. Through 60 minutes, we were poor. And then the rest of the game, we were very poor at finishing. We couldn't finish our chances. The game could have been 5 or 6-1. But at the end, it was a 2-1 scrape of a win. And sometimes that's what you need, though, to keep the winning streak alive, to keep the unbeaten streak alive, and to keep the good vibes going. So, and that's what happened yesterday. So we got to take it, and it's good going into the Atalanta game because now we are on, I believe, a 2-game winning streak and a 12-game unbeaten streak, not counting the Supercoppa. So all's well in Juve land. Let's go through some of the stats from the match. So we'll go through some top stats here first. Obviously, we won 2-1. Sassuolo still dictated the play in terms of ball possession. As you can see, 55-45. It doesn't really matter, though, because it's what you do with the ball. We all know that. Because then you look at the next stat, it's 20 shots to 16. That's at goal. That's not on target. So we did more with the ball. Of course, you expect that. We're the more talented team. And Allegri tends to let the other team not have the ball, but a good technical team will usually have the ball more often than we do. And then, as you can see, 5 big chances, and then 5 big chances missed. That was the story of the match. Nono Pagolo, the Sassuolo's goalkeeper, was on another level. 41 years old. It was only his 3rd game of the season, and the one commentator said he conceded 3 goals to Bologna in his last game. So this guy played out of his mind. The Sassuolo backup secondary goalie. Again, Nono Pagolo, he's the man of the match for doing both teams. But yeah, not good from us, especially when we finally have that lethal, deadly scorer in Vlahovic, and we still come up empty, all pretty much empty for the most part. McKennie should have probably had 3. Vlahovic should have had 2 or 3. And what happened? Bonucci blocked one off the line for our own attempt at goal. It was just a crazy night. Again, kudos to the Pagolo, but we could have got 5 or 6 in that game quite easily. Next, you see the accurate passes. They had 100 more completed passes because obviously if you look at the possession stats, that dictates that. We had less fouls committed. We had way more offsides. We were offside quite a bit. It's laziness, that stat. Because half the time our players are coming back from an offside position. If you're in position quicker and you just get to your spot quicker, you don't jog back or walk back, you can nullify offsides. And then corners were 6-6. In the first half, Sassuolo was doing very well in our end, and they got a lot of their corners from that in that half. We move on. Again, 20 to 16 shots. Again, those aren't on target. You can see 6 shots were off target for each side. 10 shots were on target for us, 6 for them. And then 4 block shots each. And it says here we hit the woodwork twice. I only recall hitting it once. I only recall the McKennie chance in the 66th minute or 59th minute or whatever. 56th minute. He hit the post. I only remember that one, but whatever. We had 18 shots inside the box. They had 9, and they had 7 shots outside. That just tells you we did a much better job in the second half, especially containing Sassuolo's attack, and we didn't let them penetrate into our box, and they were held out to shots outside the goal. So, and a couple did roll into Mattia Perin, but obviously they weren't dangerous chances. And then quickly moving on, you see the passes in total. Again, they almost had 100 more than us. Doesn't really matter when you're an Allegri coach team. Everything's out to the side mostly. Own half, look at that, 245, and then the opposition half, we're about the same. So that's also a key factor. We made them pass more inside their own half, so that's probably D to D, and they swing it about from there. And then we had more passes in the opposition half, which means we actually dictated the game. And that was mostly in the second half, because we were playing desperation football. It was actually pretty good as soon as Morata and Locatelli came on. Accurate long balls, we were much better. Accurate crosses, they were better. Lots of times Sandro and Cuadrado are just whipping balls into when there's only one guy in the box. We still have to work on that, but it'll come. And then throw-ins, 12-11. I don't know why that's a stat. In defense, 8 tackles to 5. Interceptions, 8-8. Blocks, 4-4. Clearances, they had 24. So obviously that again, you could tell who the more attack-minded team was. And this is coming more in the second half. And then keeper saves, we said Nono Pagolo was a super savior, 9 saves. And Perrine had 5. And like I said, Perrine had like 2 that were outside the box that were dribbling at him. But Pagolo's were all almost point-blank opportunities. And then our last stat board, we got duels. We won that comfortably, 56-38. Ground duels was 41-28. Aerial duels was 15-10, and then dribble succeeded, we had 18-12. We had more, but they were better, more efficient. So let's run down the game. Initial thoughts again. First half, after the goal, very poor. Very, very poor. We did get some half chances here or there. The Vlahovic breakaway comes to mind. The McKennie diving header comes to mind. But Sassuolo was much better after Dybala scored the first goal in the 3rd minute. We just can't collapse into a shell after the first goal. It's not good enough. You can't have that mentality, especially against like a team like Atalanta this Sunday upcoming. If you get a goal, you can't just sit back because they're going to come at you even more than what Sassuolo did. Second half, again, as soon as Locatelli and Morata came on, the game changed. It was pretty obvious. It was apparent that we were going for it. Allegri's like, yeah, we need to stop this before it gets past 90 minutes. And again, a very good job. He made good substitutions. Morata came on and Locatelli came on for, I believe, Zakaria and De Sciglio. Cuadrado dropped back to right back or right wing back at that time because we were pressing. And Morata made a difference. Again, very good. Locatelli made a difference in his progressive passes, and we just looked more potent, and we had more chances. Like I said, 56-minute, McKennie hits the post, and Dybala shoots wide. Vlahovic has a half chance with his left foot when he came back and tried to shoot across the goalkeeper, but he could. Pagolo made a save. Then Delit's header came back across the face of goal, and I believe someone just hit Bonucci and went wide or high and wide, crazy. So again, lots of pressure. Second half, Sassuolo they weren't up to task. So all in all, it's not a 90-minute game or not a complete 90 minutes we played, but the second half when we were hungry, we did look dominant, and that's a good thing. So we'll go on to the post-match quotes from Allegri. And you can see him to my right here, or I guess your right side of the screen. We're happy with Vlahovic and Zakaria signings. They're 2 excellent players who have integrated well into a team that was coming from a good period. We had good results. We'd recovered in the league. Vlahovic is a player who has characteristics we didn't have, so we're happy to have him. He has to improve because he has to be cleaner in the game. He has to attack the depth a little bit better. But this is part of the improvement of every player. So I do agree with him. Somewhat because he does have to clean it up a bit. He had some sloppy touches, but he also does have some very good link-up play. If he can work on cleaning up his hold-up play in the neutral third, So that means around the halfway line when he's battling against the bigger center backs. I think he can become more dangerous, and he'll allow us to go on more counterattacks. And of course, I think he has a skill to do that. So I think with time, you'll be able to recognize this, and he'll get even better at this. But I do agree with Allegri on that bottom part. In terms of the first part, yes, we've had good results in the league. Have we totally recovered? No. We're in a top 4 place right now, but Sunday, never mind the American football Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl on Sunday. So, good quote from Allegri there. We'll continue on with quote 2. It's true that the second half we created a lot. That's what I said. We had a good second half. In the first half, the goal perhaps took us out of the game a bit. We got a bit sleepy. Sassuolo for 25 to 30 minutes. They created difficulties for us until the equalizer. So when Hamed Traore scored that really good goal, they were dominant, Sassuolo. And then he goes on to say, it's true that in the second half we created a lot. We had good second half. In the first half, the goal... Oh. I should have probably read this before, but it's the same thing. Producer mistake for that one. But yeah, exactly. The ball scores, we turtle back, we concede possession, we let Sassuolo dictate the play, and then Hamed Traore scores a great goal. Could Bonucci do better? Yes. He should have closed the space down right away. He shouldn't have allowed Hamed Traore to have that shot. But again, I think Bonucci's defensive play has been declining for years, and his sole purpose pretty much as a center back is to dictate play with the ball, and he was miles off the pace today. He couldn't hit a pass, he could not hit one pass. Moving on, Morata always played with 1 point of reference and him playing around the player. He's put in good performances, but he couldn't quite express himself. He came in well, as did Locatelli and Rabiot. With Vlahovic scoring, we are more relaxed. If the team thinks they can't score, there's always stress. Alvaro's doing well. Not playing with his back to goal is an advantage. Exactly. And I think us three, Justin, Alejandro, and I, we've been saying this forever. If Morata's not your main guy, he's a good player. If he's a substitute, he's a good player. But he cannot, like Allegri clearly states, he cannot play with his back to goal. He cannot be the main man that you trust to score the goals, the most important goals. He's a complement piece, and in North American sports we always talk about who's the complement piece to the superstar. Morata is a complement piece. In hockey, there's a guy named Connor McDavid on the Edmonton Oilers, best player in the league, who's a complement piece to him, Zach Hyman. Because he does the dirty work. Morata does the dirty work, Vlahovic, Dybala does their business. We'll move on to quote 4, last quote from Allegri. Apart from the 25 minutes where we took our foot off the gas, we did well, then we were more aggressive. So he's asked about the Scudetto now, of course, because every time he's asked about the Scudetto now. 11 points from Inter potentially. We are fighting with Atalanta right now. An aggressive and physical team. They will want to make up for the elimination. He's talking about they lost to Fiorentina 3-2 on the same day where we beat Sassuolo in the Coppa Italia. They will want to make up for the elimination, and an important step, a head-to-head until the end with them. The others at the moment are out of reach. And I agree completely. Napoli and Milan are 7 points ahead. Inter is potentially 11. We can't worry about them right now. First worry is Atalanta. I think he's nailed it right on the head. It's Atalanta. Don't worry about anything else. If it comes to a place where we are closer, then you can worry about it. But for now, absolutely not. So yeah, I think those answers today, it was more realistic, his post-match press conference. Usually he just says random things to make players feel better, but I believe, or say to the media where he thinks we should be in the grand scheme of things. But I think these 4 answers today and specifically these quotes that Alejandro pulled, I believe I accept every answer he did. Like, this is perfect post-match press conference, and I haven't agreed with him a lot in most of his press conferences this year. So that's a good sign. The team is trending upwards. Okay, so MVP. I'm going to do MVP for Juventus. But again, the actual MVP is Pagolo. But I'll go MVP probably Dybala because he scored a goal, and I don't know, does he get an assist for that own goal? I know Vlahovic created everything and he passed to Vlahovic. We'll give him an assist, whatever. So goal assist was the spearhead of every attack. Again, it just gives him more leverage at this point. Like, please just sign on the dotted line. Please put your name on the contract and sign it already. So, man of the match for me. Flop of the match, I'm gonna say Bonucci. Like, again, his not his direct fault for the goal, but his passing was off today, and he could have just stepped up into Hamed Traore and not conceded that shot. So, again, man of the match, Paulo Dybala. Flop of the match, Bonucci. But the real man of the match was Pagolo. So that's it. That's the match review. Again, a good 60-minute performance. You'd like to be a whole total 90-minute performance, but we'll take it from here. We move on. Next time we play in the Coppa Italia will probably be mid-March against Fiorentina, home and away, because now, for whatever reason, they go home and away in the semifinals in Coppa Italia. It's so stupid, but whatever. We'll play the games. And yeah, don't forget to, if you want to become a member of our YouTube channel, obviously the link is in the description. To become a member, you get access to Discord and to chat with us, and wallpapers for your phones. Alejandro does a really good job at those. You get emoticons and whatnot, and there will be some prizes in the future once we get more members. Then we need to also remind you that we'll have a preview show on Saturday, previewing Atalanta Juventus. That'll be a live show, so stay tuned for that. And you can stay tuned by clicking the bell icon and stay notified for this channel, for all of our content. And follow us on Twitter, at Gennady151, at AlejandroBZ, at Justin Saforo, and of course at bianconerizone. Ciao everybody, thanks for watching. Forza Juve, let's move on.